What's going on, everyone? It's Simon, and today I'm excited because we are talking the importance of research in having a successful content creation project. One of the things I find when I'm talking with people about these projects is they immediately go to, oh, it's so exciting, you get to go see all these places, you get to do all these things. Then they go straight into the discussion of plane flights and actually being there. And one of the things that I think a lot of people forget is there's a lot of stuff that happens before you actually get there. There's a lot of things to consider, and that's where doing a lot of research comes into play. Every country in Africa is a completely different way of dealing with getting into the country, customs, what the NGO does and how the NGO works in the country, whether they are a organization that's based in the US that has like a board of directors in the US and then all of the workers are local, or if an org actually has expats working in country. Everything is slightly different, and the only way you can put your best foot forward with a project is to do the research ahead of time. Perfect example, Engage Burkina that I work with in Burkina Faso. They have expats on the ground that lead teams and do a lot of the legwork. Some of their expats have been there for over 30 years. Then there's organizations like E4 Project where the people that I work with are based in the US and they serve to help guide and do fundraising for Congolese people and Gabonese people that are actually doing all of the work in country. So there's different ways to go about it, but unless you really research how your organization works and what they're really trying to do, you're not going to know how best to create the right content for them to use for fundraising. Along those same lines, you need to really dig in and make sure that you know what the organization stands for, how they are trying to put out their marketing, what is the best avenue, because creating content is great, but creating content for the right way for the right platform is how you're going to maximize the dollars getting into the organization. That is huge in and of itself. But then there's things that you don't necessarily relate directly to an organization, but they are huge when it comes to actually making a project happen. So things like visas, airport access, what is customs like there, stuff like that. What is daily life like in the country? What is the general attire for the demographics of people that are going? I've worked in countries where they don't care what you wear. You can wear shorts, you can wear pants, you can wear t-shirts, you can wear polo shirts. I've also worked in countries where pants and a collared shirt is expected while you're working. I've also worked in countries where pants are expected of adult men and dresses are expected of adult women. Being prepared is huge for just being able to put your best foot forward when you are actually in country. A lot of times when I'm talking with the org, they say, oh, they'll understand you're a foreigner. I hear that often. But at the same time, I know from personal experience that dressing the part and following the customs of a country gets you better content because people are more open to you because they can relate to you a little better just because of the small thing of dressing the part. Greetings the right way, or noting social cues that they have. Certain countries, they will have different mannerisms and they'll respond to you differently than other countries. Some countries greet differently than other countries, so it really varies. One of the very common things that I've found is a lot of countries, you don't offer your left hand for shaking hands, things like that, because that is the hand that is typically used for wiping. I think you understand what I mean there. So everything is done with your right hand. And the same thing with eating. If you're eating a community meal out of a communal bowl, you only put your right hand into the bowl. That's something that we don't necessarily think about as Americans because it doesn't affect us, but it is a huge thing when you're in certain situations out in remote villages and things like that, where that is just the daily life out there. Other things like customs and visas, In Ethiopia, we have to deal with getting journalist visas, which is a very different thing from some countries I've been to where I just go in with a tourist visa. And so knowing what type of visa you need to have and making sure you have all of the paperwork filled out the right way ahead of time is going to help you be a lot more successful, because you don't run into as many issues when you actually arrive. And that's where things kind of get crazy. I've definitely been in some situations where customs officials are asking a lot of questions about the camera equipment and stuff like that. And so being able to have all of your ducks in a row to where it just makes life a whole lot easier for you on your way into the country. It's one less thing you have to deal with after sitting on a plane for an ungodly amount of time. That's a few reasons why research ahead of time is so incredibly important to pulling off a successful content creation project with a partner NGO in a developing country. I hope you guys got something great out of that. If you have any other questions about research or types of things to research, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it depending on the organization you're working with. If you have a question, leave a comment down below. I do my best to answer them in a timely manner. And other than that, check out some of my other videos over here and be sure to hit the subscribe button right there. And other than that, have a great week. I'll see you guys next time.